quick demo on how to add interactivity to your InDesign file. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can add interactivity. We're going to use two different ways in this document. The first is just going to be some invisible buttons. I think the invisible buttons are most handy for places where you want people to be able to click, anywhere. Think about like just a button on the internet, right? You don't have to necessarily click the text. If as long as I click somewhere within like this rectangle, I'll be jumped to that page. So I might be clicking the text, I might be clicking the page number, I might be clicking off to the side. I just think it's an easier user experience. So that's how I'm setting up my table of contents. Okay, so let's make some buttons. These are already made, so I'm just going to delete some of these. Okay. To make a button, all you do is draw a rectangle. We want no stroke, no fill. I put the buttons up on their own layer just so I don't accidentally start messing up my text. Alright, so here we're going to add this one to introduction. Okay, so that is just a rectangle. And then if I go over to this buttons and forms panel, if you don't have it, it's under window, probably interactive, yep, buttons and forms. Okay, and then type, we are making a button. If you ever wanted to have like a pre-filled, like an interactive form, you can do a lot of that through InDesign too in the same panel. Alright, so hit button. You can see now my rectangle has a dashed line around it. That's how you know that it's interactive. It also has this little symbol here, which looks like a finger pushing a button. Also how you know it's interactive. Okay, just making it the same width as all the other ones. Alright, so you're going to name your button. It doesn't have to be anything important. No one can see this. Just helps keep you organized. And then we're going to add an action. So it's just like if you are familiar with coding for a website, it's the same idea. So we want to tell the button what to do. And what we want to tell it to do is to go to destination. All right, and we want to go somewhere in this document. And if you can see, I have a bunch of stuff pre-populated. So these things are text anchors and bookmarks that I already put into my document. So because I have it already, it's a introduction. I just click that. You can leave it on inherent zoom. You don't have to touch anything else. And this is good to go. Now, how did I get an option, this inherent zoom option? Well, I created some bookmarks. So let's open our bookmarks panel. Window, interactive, bookmarks. There they are. Okay. Creating bookmarks is super simple. All you do is go to the page that you need a bookmark for, like every divider page. Here, I'm going to delete this one. Yes. Okay, so I'm on this page, introduction. I just hit the little plus sign, and then you can type whatever you want to call it. So the bookmarks you actually are going to see in the PDF, so it is really important that they are spelt correctly and look professional. And as you can see, you can like drag them around to change their order, and you can make children like as well. Man. All right, I want it up at the top. I'm just gonna undo. Okay. The children that I'm gonna make are gonna be for my table of contents. So after the main sections, I've got these first level headlines here, like inform, educate, and engage. I'm guessing I should probably put a 1 in front of, but someone will tell me that, I guess. All right, so that is here. So I'm on this page now, page 9, and I'm just going to, under here, I'm going to do plus sign, and it's going to be 1, inform, educate, and engage. So now, since it's indented, it's a child of B, getting organized, which makes sense because it is a headline under the getting organized section. So now that I've put in this bookmark, if I went back to my table of contents and wanted to add a link to here, all right, I have that button selected. I'm going to go to actions, go to destination, and then I should be able to find this one, inform, educate, and engage. So the bummer of this is while your bookmarks panel is all nice and organized, when you're going to link stuff in this buttons panel, it is not. It is just a giant alphabetical mess. So just be careful when you're doing this and then test it that you actually linked to the right stuff. So there you go. So that will work. The only really good way to test this without totally crashing your computer is just to export out an interactive PDF and see that it's working correctly. So I will do that real fast just so you can see what it looks like. Okay. So that's how we're going to go through, or that's at least my plan, to go through and create buttons for the whole table of contents after I've created bookmarks for all of the section dividers and the main headlines within each section. Anything that is called out on the table of contents needs a bookmark, essentially. Okay, drag this in here. Come on. Well, there we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, so table of contents. All right, so you can see as I hover over the words, my finger becomes a pointy finger when I have something I can click on. And since it's a button and it goes all the way across, you can see I have a little pointy finger even in this blank space, which to me is the benefit of doing it this way. Let's see if I make it a little bit bigger. Easier to see. Okay. So we're going to click getting organized, and you can see I get jumped to getting organized. And then we did this one, inform, educate, and engage. So I'm just bringing you to that page. The bookmarks is this little tab right here, bookmark. So when I open this, now you can see this looks just like my bookmarks panel in InDesign looked. So that's why it's really important that anything you type into bookmark, someone can definitely see. And this is just essentially doing the same thing that that sidebar that we created is doing. It's just letting you jump through the document, because any page we have a bookmark, you can just click to. So there you go. All right, so that is making bookmarks and buttons. The other thing we have to do is all of these in-text links, and we have to do the sidebar. The sidebar you can definitely do with buttons and the bookmarks, just like we did table of contents. That probably would make the most sense, since like again, it's more like a button than an in-text, than like text, I think, for people to click on. So I think that's probably how I'm going to set it up, where we'll do the same thing. So like, I'll probably make it wider than the text and a little bit taller, just to make it really easy for people to click on. And then again, you go under the buttons tab, you do button, action, go to destination, and this is going to the executive summary, which I don't think I have a bookmark for yet. Nope. Okay, we'll make one of those. Oh, it's not going to be in the right spot. Man. So you just like drag and fight this thing to like move it to the correct location. There we go. Oh, good. Okay. And you can see I stuck my navigation up in a master page. That way I hopefully won't have to do it quite so many times. All right, so that button works, and then I'll just go down and do it for the rest of these, and then copy and paste that onto all my other master pages. For the in-text links, that's not one of them, these are one of them. All right, so how you're going to do these is called text anchors. Let me get to, I've done some of those. Let me go to a new one. Okay, so what I did first of all was I went through this document and with like a cursory glance and figured out, where am I linking to in the text? So I am linking to all of the sections, all the appendices at least, references, and then pretty much every box or table or figure. So I'm going to have to go through and flag every single one of those. So what you do is first you have to make text anchor destinations, which means where you want the link in text linked to jump you to. So let me find the first one of those. So here's box B1. All right, so I'm on this page. I'm going to go over to the hyperlinks panel, and I'm going to do new hyperlink destination. And so you have a few different options. You can have, you can link to a page. Because I have nothing selected on this page, is asking if I want to just link to the page, or if I want to click on, oh, I have to unlock all my layers. Just kidding. There you go. All right, so if I click on like this headline, because maybe I want to link to that headline, and I do this again, okay, with my text tool, sorry. New hyperlink destination. So now it says text anchor. So that's actually what we want, because the directions from the business was that they wanted to like jump to the figures, like zoom into the figures. So we have to do this a text anchor, not just like a whole page. All right, so it just gives you the name of whatever you had highlighted. That's fine. It says text anchor. We say OK. And that puts in your hyperlinks panel. Like, so we had our happy green circles, our invalid URL red circles, and now we have these little anchors for any of these text anchors. So you can see I have a couple of them already in here. Okay, so I've made that first box, and so I'm going to go through my whole document and create text anchors to any of these figures. Like here's table C1, so I think I'll just do table C1, new hyperlink destination, say OK. All right, so now somewhere in my document that I have to link to table C1, which I know there's a bunch of those, so let's go find those. This is the Word doc of edits from the biz. Here we go. Let's go here. Okay. On page 15. Let's go to page 15. Right. Okay, so here it says table C1. So I'm going to highlight this. Right now I just had it in like a fake linked style, so I can turn that off just so you can see that it's going to turn blue. All right, so now I want to do, up in the hyperlinks panel, I want to do new hyperlink. And since it's not just a URL, we can't just like paste it into this URL box. We have to say link to, and you can see the kinds of things you can link to in your InDesign document. We want this text anchor. And then I just go into the drop down, and these are all the text anchors I've built so far. And I can hit table C1. And this is the character style that I want it to apply. So I want it to be the hyperlink new underline style for my document. And I just hit OK. And that's all you have to do. And you can see now it turned blue because I had it just gray. And that works now. So if I just export it out, pages 15 and 16, so that you can see what it looks like real quick. Let's do a couple pages so we definitely get it. All right, so here's table C1. You can see if I put my mouse over it, the finger becomes a pointy hand. I click on it, it puts table C1 right at the top of the page. So there you go. That's how that works. So those are text anchors. And you can see my bookmarks are here as well. So we could go to that one, and that would work because we have that page in this PDF. All right, hopefully that helped you figure out how to get all the linking working. So buttons for bigger stuff that you want to select, with bookmarks and text anchors and hyperlink text anchor links for these in-text links that are going to other places in your same document. Let me know if you have questions.